Welcome, everybody, to Gruber Nation Live. Every Friday, right here on my YouTube channel at 12 p.m. Eastern, I'll be live. And this week's topic is one that I saw in the news, and I wanted to share with all of you and then just talk about how I feel about it. And that is the Dominican Republic's moment. It may have arrived, literally turning, potentially, DR into a regional power. Maybe I'm being airy-fairy. Maybe I'm being too pie in the sky. I don't know. But we're going to talk through it. We'll get your thoughts. We'll get my thoughts. And we'll just have a conversation on this amazing Friday, everybody. So if you're watching on replay, join us. If you're watching live right now, I'd love to know where you're watching from. What part of the world are you in? And how about this instead? On a Friday, what is your favorite Dominican dish to eat? Before the weekend, maybe it's in the evening, maybe it's first thing in the morning, but you have a Friday meal. And if so, what is that? Drop that down below and let us know what you are working on. There we go. I see the numbers rolling in. It was a little low there for a second, but people are out there. So let me know you're alive. Let me know you can hear me. I'll put the comments up on stage so you can see them. And we're going to start seeing who's doing what here. So we have Jamie or Jaime from Boston. Amazing. Just got back from there not long ago. Yes, today's golpes is smart. It's a smart breakfast to eat. Breakfast of champions. Greeting from Long Island, New York. Maybe I got to ask, like, what's the temperature where you are? Because is it any warmer? A week ago, it was really cold. Is it any warmer now up in the States in certain parts? Miami was like 40 degrees from what I understand, which is insane. We got Hollywood, Florida. I spent a month there once. Jason from Providence, churrasco. Amazing. Churrasco is one of my favorite meats. I just had a ribeye, actually. Miami, you get still in my teeth. I can feel it. No island time with Jamie. No, I am on time. On time for this every week. Tom from Greenville, South Carolina, good to see you. Watching from Puerto Plata, American living in DR. Amazing, Robert. Good to see. Oh, Robert, good to see you. Tanya says we are here in Las Terrenas from Montana. That's a trip. How many flights was that? I'm curious. Like, that's got to be like a 20-hour total, maybe more trip. Like, I don't know, Montana to Minnesota, maybe. Minnesota, are you coming straight to DR? And then did you drive from Santiago? Like, what was your trip like? I'm curious. Miami, Florida. What's up, Carlos? Good to see you. Chicharrón de pollo empanizado sin hueso. Nice. Mr. Erod, Sunrise, Florida. Good to see everybody there. All right. Ontario. Yeah, I'm curious. Cold? Is it cold? It's cold in Florida? Like, what kind of cold, Carlos? What kind of cold? 58 in Miami. What a cold snap. Listen, by the way, for those people who have said to me, they comment on my stuff, they're like, it's stupid to move to DR. Just move to Miami. It's the same weather. Like, I've spent time in Miami, and it's been this. Where is it? Right here. It's been this. It's been 40s and 50s in Miami. Like, it got down to 72 the other day here, 72. And I was, come on. And now weather's not why I live here, but please don't compare the weather. There's no comparison. Fort Worth, Texas, good to see you. New Jersey, good to see you, Brian. Who was the next one I just saw here? Oh, man, these comments are flying in. Watching from Orlando, Florida. Just got back from La Vega. I hope you enjoyed that trip. Liking what I see from Long Island. Amazing, amazing. Minus 10. Sheesh. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. 48 in Sunrise. Great work. Appreciate that. From Omaha, Nebraska. I love your chats, Dominican from Nebraska. Amazing. Thank you. I didn't know there was Dominicans in Nebraska. You know, there's a lot of Dominicans in Alaska. I had no idea. But Alaska has a lot of very cold Dominicans. Freezing in Toronto. Have you ever been to Manzanillo? I don't think so. Where is that? Tell me where that is, and I may have been. Your original flight from Montana for 16 hours turned into 36. God, Tanya, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Puerto Vallarta, thinking of moving to the DR. Come on. Harrison, let's go. 41 in Nebraska, Huntsville, Alabama. And then here, we've got a question. Why would you live here? The homeowner's insurance tax is super high. Can't say. All right, let's dive in. I'm going to give you guys an article that I found that I thought was really interesting. And I'll give my thoughts on how this article even became a thing, and then share in the comments as I go through. I'm going to read a little bit of this, what you guys think of what you're seeing right now. So here's the article. It's from Newsweek. The title of it is Dominican Republic Strategic Moment in a Shifting Hemisphere. And so I'm going to roll down through. We'll get past this video, and we're going to get to this a little bit. So this first part talks about the Maduro raid, him being arrested. We're not going to rehash that. We all know what's happening there. But this part, while the region's capitals wrestled with effects of President Maduro's removal, a smaller Latin American player continued to quietly take steps toward a more central role, DR. Despite the limited headlines, DR is in the midst of an economic and geopolitical transformation that could make it a strategic ally for the United States and an important actor in the Western Hemisphere. Now, before I continue, A thought that I have on this in general is this. The fact that this article randomly came out from Newsweek, and then a few weeks back, there was an article in the Miami Herald or Miami Times or Miami whatever, pretty much like, wow, Dominican Republic is doing some amazing things right around the time, right after Pete Hegseth visited down here in DR, right? So we've got, if I'm a little twitchy, I apologize. I see my side is a little twitchy for some reason. But right around that time, let me turn off some other Wi-Fi's, maybe that'll help. Right around that time, I saw another article come out. And I think that this is part of the broader strategy for the United States to say, hey, look, DR, here's what we want from you. We want these things from you. And if we get them, we are going to do a lot more to help you achieve your goals. And part of that is, hey, look, yeah, Ricardo, right here, right? I don't think it's random. I don't think it's a random article. I think that's what you're saying. Let me know if I'm hearing you right. I agree. I think this is timed right. I think this is an agreement behind the scenes. I think this is one of those things where the U.S. is saying, in exchange, we're not going to eliminate tariffs. We're not going to do certain things, but we will, help with propaganda, maybe is the way to put it. The other thing that's interesting, and maybe we'll get into this a little bit as we go, is did you guys see the news about warships and Port-au-Prince? Let me know if you saw that, the news about U.S. warships and Port-au-Prince in Haiti. Let me know if you guys saw that. Let's get back to this article, though, and dive back into it. So again, ally for the United States. This transformation could unlock a wide-ranging set of opportunities for businesses, governments, and other major international players. So here it goes into it. Long known for its beaches and baseball, it's often referred to in English, the DR, shows the Caribbean island of Hispaniola shares it with Haiti. However, unlike its perennially troubled neighbor, DR and its nearly 11 million inhabitants may have become an oasis of stability in what continues to be a turbulent region, an oasis of stability in a turbulent region, which feels true. It gets into something here that's really, I'm not going to read all of this, but it talks here about economic reforms, a focus on property rights, sustained foreign investment. It built a fast-growing, diversified economy, averaging a nearly 5% annual GDP growth over the past 5 decades, nearly twice the growth rate of its Latin American peers during that period. Let's go down here. This is the one I like. The DR's economic success has come hand in hand with political stability and increasingly active international role. Unlike other Latin American countries, DR's political establishment has kept a tight consensus around the economic model with policy continuity across multiple administrations, boosting investor confidence and buttressing nearly 60 years of uninterrupted democratic rule. Continued stability at home, in turn, enables the DR to speak with a louder voice in international forums and strengthens bilateral ties with regional players and recognize an increasingly useful partner. Very interesting commentary here. So before I go on, even if I do, this article really dives in to a couple of different things. It talks about how DR is in an area of turmoil, is a shining star, as we saw from the US's perspective. It talks about the DR's ability to step up across multiple different logistical assistance areas. Like there is talk of semiconductor, at least like packaging or periphery, maybe not like development of the chip or portions of the chip, maybe, but development of semiconductors are having a role in the semiconductor industry down here. I really believe the Punta Cana Airport logistics hub that I went and was at the inauguration of with the president and everything was really interesting. And they talked openly about semiconductors and everything else. A lot of people don't believe that the infrastructure and the power in the country is able to handle it. And I don't think they can handle full stack. I don't think they should be the only partner, but it does sort of have a Taiwan-esque feel to it that you could have some elements of semiconductors being manufactured here. And again, this article really touches on that. Let me go down to the next part here. This part is some people are going to agree, some people are not going to agree because whether they like Abinader. But much of this, why is my mouse not working? Whatever. Much of this rapprochement comes from the foresight of Dominican President Abinader, a U.S. educated, I just got like hey, this is going to die on you. A U.S. educated center-right political leader serving his second term. However, the multi-pronged areas of cooperation also evidence that the U.S. is beginning to see the DR as a friendly strategic partner in a region long hostile to its involvement. Meaning the rest of the region, Colombia right now, Nicaragua, Venezuela, sort of, or at least the power structure in Venezuela. Did I say Cuba? Cuba are resistant. They don't want the U.S. meddling, and for good reason. I know there's a mixed record, we'll say. Some people think U.S. has never had any wins in regime change, and that's just false. That's absolutely false. You could look at Japan, Germany, Panama, many other countries where it has worked, but you can look at a lot where it hasn't. So there's resistance to the U.S. being here in a region long hostile to its involvement. The world is quietly starting to take note. I like that line. The DR will host the next Summit of the Americas. It says scheduled for December 2026. I haven't seen that. It was 2025, and they've delayed it to this year, but we don't know. Was recently the venue for the Oscar de la Renta pre-fall 2026 fashion show, an homage to the designer's Dominican heritage, and is collaborating closely with NVIDIA to develop a center of excellence in AI for Central America and the Caribbean. All true. All stuff I've reported on this channel, all things that I think DR should be very, very excited about. The people here, those that are looking to invest, and so on. What does this mean? Here's how I see this long term. Here's how I see DR's involvement from a perspective of why people watch this channel often, which is like, all right, well, if I want to invest there, what does it look like, so on and so forth. From a real estate investment standpoint, let me shore up how I see DR. I don't see it as this major cash flow play. Well, let me take that one step back. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think DR overall should be considered a speculative investment. It should not be your core investment thesis, meaning you got 100 grand to your name. DR is not the place to place all that 100 grand. It's just not. It's not a fully developed economy yet. It is not a investor grade credit rating yet. In the next 3 years, we hope, but it's not there. So it should be a playground, not a primary, in my opinion. My take, I'm not a financial advisor. Talk to your own. Disclaimer. But I don't think it should be that. I think it's a place where you should get exposure, meaning, okay, I've got some dollars to invest, just like Bitcoin. I mean, we see what's happening with that. Thankfully, it's back up a little bit. But it's just like Bitcoin. You play there. You invest in blue chip, the big S&P 500 companies, really good real estate and really good markets in the States or Europe or Canada, and then you play here. So that's number one. Number two is I don't think this is as big a cash flow market. I think a reasonable cash flow for a short-term rental opportunity would be like 6% as an ROI. I think that's what you should target. 6-7%, you're doing all right. You can get as low as 3-4. You can get higher. Everything's variable, but 6-ish% should be your target. And many may be like, then why invest? Well, you do because of what I think about this market is that it is not only an appreciation market, but it is also one that outpaces inflation a little bit. And here's what I mean. The United States is the best hedge against inflation by investing in real estate. If inflation is 4%, your assets go up 4%. Some markets may be more, but your assets are probably going to hedge with inflation. They're going to go with inflation. So you buy there and you capture inflation. That's what people that build wealth do. The rest of us who lament people that have all this money or this net worth or whatever, well, they consume and try to keep up with inflation by trying to out earn it versus taking that money, putting it into assets that track with inflation. The United States is in most markets at full replacement value for real estate. So that means essentially that your 4% inflation rate will track 4% with your appreciation on your real estate. DR, on the flip side, actually outpaces inflation a little bit most of the time. So if inflation is 4%, you may see appreciation at 6-7% because it is not at replacement value. And the best example of this would be if you purchased a pre-construction property, let's say for $150,000, the next phase of that pre-construction property, the same exact one that you bought maybe 2-3 months into the build, is now 180, 190, 200, 250, whatever. That won't last forever. So those that are flipping on that, great. But I don't see this as a long-term strategy, like flipping on that equity. What I do see as a long-term strategy, though, is buying, holding for a while, 5 to 10 years, maybe more, and allowing appreciation to take it up. Because if you look at what the future of the Dominican Republic likely is, absent some sort of weird whatever black swan event or bad government decisions or some sort of coup, I don't know, absent something crazy, DR will track with the world economy to an extent. So you're gonna have ups and downs, just like Bitcoin, right? People are freaking out about Bitcoin. I own 2, and I'm like, okay, I'm not cashing it out. Like, just let it go, man. Like, whatever. It lost on paper. People do the same thing with the stock market. DR is gonna have its downs. Different markets in DR are gonna have their downs. But I think you buy here to catch that inflation, to outpace inflation a little bit right now. And in 10, 15 years, you liquidate. Along the way, you're either using that asset for lifestyle, you're using it to maybe cash flow a little bit. Maybe you're using it just to break even on the cash flow side, not cost you anything because you want to ride the wave of appreciation. That's how I see the DR market. And this news, this type of news, this type of propaganda, if you will. Let me scroll to the top so you can see the headline for those just joining. This type of information and the impact and what it's talking about, the potential for DR to be a strategic partner in a region filled with either partners that don't have the ability to be as strategic. I think Jamaica falls in that, meaning like great partner, but they're just not as organized as DR. They're not as politically stable as DR. They're not as safe as DR. It's not a bad place. I have friends that live there. It's beautiful. Or countries that sort of resist U.S. Cooperation. Mexico is a part of that. Cuba, of course. We talked about Nicaragua, Colombia. Petro has openly said he doesn't want the U.S. meddling in Latin America, which is fine, and I get why, but you get my point. DR has made a decision. You may agree with it. You may not agree with it, but DR has made a decision to say, okay, big brother is the United States. We're going to say that the U.S. has a long enough runway for us to kind of get in bed with them. China's the other player. We're going to make sure we keep them close. We've got their products, and I'm not against that. I'm looking at a Chinese SUV because it's way less expensive and it looks like it's of good quality to buy. So China's here. You know, there's some controversy about the Chinese stores and all that, but U.S. is where we're gonna butter our bread. So we're gonna give them logistical support. We're gonna give them room at airports for military support. What you're seeing happening in Haiti, I'm sure there's cooperation with the Dominican Republic. They are a country that the U.S. can leverage, and they're a country that wants to be leveraged. We may not agree with that. Some of you may, some of you may not. But that's the reality of it. Now, a hot take that people often have, and I got to get off screen for this so you can see my reaction. Hold on, let me get this thing here. Let me get this off of there. Oh, come on. There we go. A hot take. What is happening with my laptop today? All right. A hot take that a lot of people have is the U.S. is only in this for themselves. To which I say, my 1986 me when I was like 7 or 8 years old. You ready for it? No doy. Of course. Who thinks the U.S. goes out there and does something just because they feel they should? Humanitarian is an element of it, but there's always what the U.S. wants first. It's there. I mean, look, the president that was elected on a platform by the popular vote, by the electoral college vote, was elected on America first. Like that's the agenda. The people, the majority, if you will, not the majority, you get my point, elected him on. Now, if I'm pausing a little bit right now, sitting to my right is my wife who just came in, and she has a tendency to do something when I'm live, which really, really is annoying. She puts her hand up when she hears, like, this could be this could be it. I could say, I'm live here on YouTube, and there's this 2-second delay. Like she wants to correct everything I do. So I'm waiting for the hand to go up to correct something I'm saying geopolitically or whatever it is. Am I getting the hand? Or am I getting a chancla? What are you doing? Here it comes. Anyway, I'm gonna get back into my rhythm here. It's of course the U.S. wanting what's best for the U.S. The point that I think we sometimes I know my live is lagging a little bit. I'm sorry about that. I think sometimes we don't give credit for the the strategic mindset of like Dominican government officials who say, yeah, they want this stuff from us, and you know what, we're going to let them use it because we can leverage this, like news like this. We can get them to propagandize us in a positive way so we can outpace the rest of the region. So that's it. The U.S., like here, Liz Tavares says it, right? The U.S. does for itself first, of course, and it should. DR, in that same calculation, is saying we're going to do what we need first, too. But we understand that the big boy is the U.S., so we're going to let them use us to the extent we're comfortable, and in exchange, we're going to use them. We all do it. I don't believe in the word altruism. You guys know what altruism is? Like doing for others without any regard for yourself. Like even the idea, like if you help somebody that has a flat tire, yeah, of course, okay, you did for them. 95% is for them. But like if you didn't later, you don't want to feel guilty, or in the moment you want to feel good about yourself. Like I don't believe in pure altruism. And the same thing goes for when countries get involved with countries, especially superpowers, the United States. All Dominican wives are the same. We all do it. They all raise the hand, I guess. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's see what... You're not yet. You didn't do anything. But yet, the other day I was filming, right? I was like, all right, blah, blah, blah. I started filming and all of a sudden, well, I lost my mind. I was like, now you got to do. All right. Very impressed with the economic development, but really concerned about the lack of organization in traffic. Well, yeah, look, listen, let's agree on something here. There will always be something to do better. And in DR right now, there are the things to do better start from a much lower place. Like there could be better traffic management in the US, but it's like, let's go from a 7 to a 9. Here it's let's go from a 2 to a 9, right? It's a much bigger range to kind of cover. But for sure, traffic is one of those issues that they have to deal with. I know I'm freezing a couple of times. I apologize for that, guys. I'll try to keep things not moving too much on screen. Hopefully it irons itself out. I don't know why. I've got great Wi-Fi here. At the current moment, Santiago is the best city equipped to handle the semiconductor industry due to the existing tech industrial zones. Albert, I don't agree fully. I agree that, I'm lagging again, but I agree that Santiago is one of those places, and this isn't because I live here, but the reason why Punta Cana is right now best equipped is because these things require, depending on what it is, climate control, they require quick access to air transit, and the logistics hub in Punta Cana is literally attached to the airport. So I think that's one of those things. That's one of those things that you have to keep in mind. Like the logistics opportunity, the power stability in Punta Cana outpaces Santiago, but Santiago's a player, no doubt about it. What else we got here? If we're good, we can help each other. Yeah, I get it. I don't know why I'm lagging so much. Maybe I have to restart my laptop. It has been on all night. No, I'm on downstairs Wi-Fi. I changed it. I made sure to change it. Anyway, hello from Santo Domingo, says Marlo Morales. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What's on your mind? Let's see, as this thing is catching up with itself. Let's see. Come on. Catch up. Yeah, people are dropping off because of it. Sorry about that, everybody. We're going to get it back, I promise. DR should move slow and methodically when dealing with the USA. The USA's trust is waning or possibly non-existent in some countries in the world. I love the USA and fought for the USA. The USA's reputation, for sure, trust is a good word, is definitely waning in certain countries. I agree with that. To an extent, though, their influence might be increasing just because I think, say what you want about some of the policies, tariff policy in particular, it has analytically slowed China's pace of overtaking the U.S. economically. So there is that. So there's like the world needs to come to Jesus with the idea, or come to grips with the idea that the U.S. is still the most influential and wields more influence, while many countries try to do, get out of the dollar a little bit more. They're using more gold in their central banks than the dollar. There is that for sure. But for the time being, for the foreseeable future, the U.S. is still the biggest, most influential power out there. Jamie, how much do you pay for electricity bill? I know you have a home, but just to have an idea. This home is 400 square meters. That's about 4,000 square feet. We use AC at night only. Right now, we have great breeze. I love the Caribbean breeze. We use AC at night only. Those lights are only on for effect, for whatever that's worth. We don't put them on during the day normally. No other lights. Well, the kitchen lights are on. We pay, what are we paying right now? $400 to $600 a month? Oh, 300. Okay, our pool isn't in yet. So we're going to be getting a pool at some point this year. So 300. The pool will kick it up. What will it be, like 400 or 500? Yeah. So right now it's about 300 a month, but the pool will kick it up a little higher. Our old house that had a pool, it was like 500-600 a month. The one we rented. Everything is speculative, says Mr. Erod, in any part of the world. That's true. My point simply was that now my wife's having friends in, so it's like a whole distraction thing. What's true is in the U.S. you've got some things that are a bit more steady, a bit more reliable because of certain markets. Especially, look, at the end of the day, if you got $5 million and you drop it in the S&P, you can reasonably assume a long-term 7% return. It's been like 10% annually for the last 20 years. Let's just say it's not sustainable, but that's $350,000 a year. If all you did was take it, put it into an S&P 500 index fund, and get a 7% return, that's $350,000 a year, right? So that's what I mean by put your eggs in that basket, and then diversify with places like here, or Bitcoin, or get into a venture fund or a debt fund or whatever else it might be. Greetings to all in the live chat. I just saw put in solar panels. Yeah, no, we're talking about that. We're seeing about doing that. But that's it's a lot of money out of pocket right up front. So is it worth it? My hot take with traffic in DR is that the number shows it worse than what it actually is. Yes, it's stressful to drive in cities, but the real danger is you losing your side mirror. Yeah, Dominican Cami, I would say you're right. Without motos, traffic and accidents dry up a lot. I mean, most of the deaths you hear on the road are motos. At the same time, DR's process for those types of accidents can change your life in a bad way, like in a day, right? Like you could be going along, nothing big, and just a little bit of a movement, you tap a moto and they go off on the side and somebody, God forbid, dies. Like that could be a life-changing day for you. Not only, just the feeling of, oh my God, somebody died after hitting my car, but the way you're detained, the way that it's handled can be life-changing, more than in the US, right? In the US, there's more of an analysis of liability. Unless you're drunk or on your phone, there's probably not going to be criminal prosecution. Not that there will be here either. It's more of a civil issue, but the police are more like, let's just hold and wait, tranquilo, let's take our time. And it's like, take your time with me sitting in a jail cell. That's not a good feeling. So that's why I talk about casa de conductor, having a great relationship with an attorney, personal experience, guys. Thankfully, the person we were in an accident with didn't die. We were told they did, ended up not, but it was turbulent. It was very trying. A good distraction for me. You mean all these distractions coming in the house. It's literally like nobody was here. Then I went live and everybody came. I was like, oh, you know what? I usually do this in my office, but there's no one here. I'll stay here. Nice breeze, nice background. Yeah, this is great. I'm Dominican. The first time I traveled to the USA was to do an internship at Fashion at 7th Avenue, New York. I stayed for about 5 months, and when I returned to DR, I realized that DR is the paradise. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm freezing again. Do you think there will be incentives, like in the US, for adding solar? I think there are already, to be honest with you, but I don't know if they're like the US, and I don't know the process for them. If you know anything about DR, processing timeline is not fast. It takes a bit. Let me turn that Wi-Fi off. Maybe I'm turning off my phone's Wi-Fi to see if I get anything better here. Did I hear pool? Give us a tour when it's installed. Yes, and we shall see. We've decided not to do a tour of the home. It's just you could see little elements of it, of course, when I'm on camera. But like a full tour, it just doesn't feel right. Right? It's something about to me. Or do you feel? She's on the fence. Not yet. Not yet. We're still living into this home, right? So maybe we will. We can always change our mind. But right now, it's not on the agenda to do a tour of the home. This is a beautiful home, though. She did a great job finding it, picking it. And we were 2 years circling this home. 2 years. Yeah. So 2 years is when we first saw it, toured it, and it took 2 years to get it. And
no, it didn't take 2 years to get it. We said no because.
No, but I mean, it took 2 years. No, right. I'm sorry. Yeah. It didn't take. It wasn't like the process was 2 years, but we downsized our house. We sold our house in the US. Like we made moves over those 2 years, and it happened that this house was still available to us. That's probably a better way of putting it, right?
When we first came, we didn't like the price because it needed a lot of work.
Oh, that's true too.
We ended up buying it for more.
That's
true.
Still
needed the same amount of work.
Yeah, when we first saw it, that's true. It was how much less? 200 grand less?
No.
150 grand less?
Like 50.
Oh, okay. It was a lot less when we first saw it. We bought it for more. Still needed the same amount of work, and we put that work into the house. But it is what it is. I can't believe this lag, man. I don't get it. DR Cribs says Valak. Let me do this. Let me see if I can close some of these things, if that helps. Let me get rid of this because it was lagging. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to get this better for you. Stick with me. Stick with me. I think I can get this better. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to move. I think I have too many tabs open. I'm doing a TEDx talk tomorrow. So I was watching different TED Talks to get a sense. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know what I'm going to say still. I have an idea, but I was talking to the organizer, who's an amazing human being. And he's like, you ready? I'm like, I mean, I'll be ready. I'll be ready by tomorrow. Like, I don't have a choice. So tonight I'm speaking or presenting at like a retreat that somebody's hosting down here. They asked me to come to it. It's just like right around the corner. So I'll go do that. And honestly, even there, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk about. And then tomorrow, it's 500 people. Babe, it's 500 people at TEDx tomorrow in Santo Domingo. I know, but I'm going to go up there like, what do I say here? And I've got 18 minutes max. Crazy. Hello from Canada. I would never normally ask this question of someone, but in order to get a perspective of investing in property, how much would you pay for 4,000 square foot home in Punta Cana? It depends on where. So it's a great question. It's a fair question. 4,000 square foot home in Punta Cana Village would be, I'd say 850 to 1.2. 850 to 1.2 dollars, $1.2 million. If you were to go to Ciudad La Palma, 3 kilometers up the road, right? A couple miles up the road. If you went there, 4,000 square foot home, 300 grand? Yeah, probably not that big, but like you get a nice size home, like a new build, nice size, maybe 300, 350?
400.
Is it 4? All right, 350 to 4. Don't quote us, but ballparking. In Vista Cana, I mean, they're like in the 6s now for bigger homes. They're getting like 700,000 for the bigger homes, depending on the neighborhood. Like the one with the horses, I think that those houses, and they're all the same. That's what's crazy. Those houses in that neighborhood, but they're like 700 grand. In Cap Cana in Green Village, they're going for like 650, and those aren't that big. Those are like 200 square meter, three bedroom homes, like 2,000 square feet. Bungalows, yeah. If you're in Las Iguanas, they have like those 4,000 square foot homes. I think those are around $1 million, right? Or more. So, and if you go into Punta Cana Resort, I mean, 3, 5. Yeah, I mean, you're spending a lot of money. So that's Punta Cana. If you were to go on the lowest end, 4,000 square foot or as close as you could get, I think right now that would be Ciudad La Palma. Maybe they have something in like White Sands. That's not that big. I don't think they're that big in White Sands, but you can get like a nice house for probably 250, 200 in White Sands. My wife's saying the further you get away from Punta Cana Village Resort and Cap Cana, the further north you go, like into Bávaro, into White Sands, the less you'll spend. So that's what that is. TED Talks are easy. Just talk about something you know. Yeah, Ricardo, I kind of, that's what I mean by I have a framework. Like I've done a talk a bunch of times, but when I watch these TED speakers, man, it's so theatric. I'm like, how much I want to be like, and that's when I realized it happened. Like how much do I want to do that versus just like riff and roll and go or whatever. And the organizer was super cool. He's like, dude, do you, man. He's a local guy. He's organized TEDx Santo Domingo every year, and he does all these things all the time. But it'll be a lot of fun. Mr. P Hustle, no, I do not day trade. I'm not a short-term guy, man. Like I said that once, like, I bought this property, then I sold it. Like, oh, I thought you were long-term. Like that is long-term. I don't mean like you never sell. But I'm saying like I allow appreciation to happen. And when we bought a 16 unit, we bought a 22 unit in Michigan and Cleveland and with partners. But when we bought those, like we bought them in like 2016, 17, and the market was like 50,000 a door. And then like 3 years later, it was like 200,000 a door. So it was just like, well, if I sell now, I capture like 10 years of cash flow. So let me get out of them. And that's what we did. And then we reinvested in some stuff in Denver and LA. And then I did some venture stuff. I did a Series A investment in a coffee company that's going really, really well. So stuff like that, right? Like I took that money and reinvested it, but not all of it. We spent some of it moving here, to be honest with you, but the rest of it we reinvested. But yeah, so no, I don't day trade. I don't like the short term. It's too chaotic for me. Even when I get into a deal, and I lost probably $50,000 to $80,000 on a couple of deals that I invested passively in because they were fast movers. They were like bridge debt, low interest rate. Bridge debt, low, high loan to value, like 85% loan to value, multifamily property, and like Scottsdale, Class A retail price, and bridge debt. Like you have to get out of it in a year or two. And when I got into them, rates were still low, and then rates went up. And when rates go up, prices go down, and these properties just at seized. They gave them back to the bank, and there goes my investment. So I like long-term. Bitcoin. I bought a couple of coins a while back. I bought them at a peak before it crashed, and then they've broken through the purchase price, and they've stayed above the purchase price. So I'm like, whatever. I'll check in on these when I'm 70, I hope, or whatever, and then sell them then if I want to, or do whatever. So that's my take on all of that. What do we got here? How are the lots selling in Meech's Boardwalk? Are they selling quickly, normal, or slow? I don't know how that's a good question. There are four sets of lots. Luxury, which is the one I got, they're 1,250 square meters. That's almost a quarter acre, I think. Those are gone, from what I understand. If there's like one lot left, fine, but those are gone. The medium-sized lots that they originally came out with, those are 500 square meters. Those are mostly gone. The small lots, there's still a lot left, but they also had a lot of them. The medium and luxury were like 100 lots each, maybe a little less. The small lots were like 400. So I think they sold like 100 of them, like the other two, but they still have a few to sell. And then because of people wanting bigger lots, they actually reorganized and created what they call a large lot. So 1250 was luxury, 500 was medium, the larger 1,000. And those is a bunch of, because they just did that. They just did that. What is my wardrobe for the TED Talk? It's going to be jeans and a black t-shirt, maybe flip-flops. We shall see. Posted this earlier, but curious of your opinion. Ricardo, what?
No, we're in flip-flops for your TED Talk.
Why?
I'm fine with the jeans and the black t-shirt, but you're not wearing flip-flops.
And what if I do? That's how you got to do it. Wait, here it is. That's how you got to do it. You just got to ask them the question that you know they don't have an answer to, and then deal with the consequences later. 16 years of experience on this. Huh? Time on task, baby. Anyway, posted this earlier. What was that? What was it, Ricardo? Repost it, whatever it was. Oh, right here? Oh, here you go. I feel like a hypocrite lately. I am uber critical of the Trump administration in general, but I love its attitude towards DR. On that note, can you foresee any anti-DR backlash in general? No, I don't foresee. But Trump is, his whole, if you've ever read The Art of the Deal, if you've ever read it, people loved Trump before he was a politician, right? Like, Donald Trump, they rapped about him, and now he's the most evil human being on the planet. So, Ricardo, I love your honesty, because I'm critical of that administration as well. There's many things that I don't like. What we see in the news right now, I think they're even signaling like, our soldiers on the streets here are getting a little overzealous. Let's send in Tom Homan, who was also, by the way, Obama's guy, which is like, great. He's been consistent over time. But I'm critical as well of many things Trump does. But I'm also willing to say, man, this guy's done some good stuff, man. There's some things he's done that are good. Now, the problem is too many Americans, and you're not one of them, Ricardo, because you're saying, hey, I'm critical, but I love the attitude of DR. They don't deal in nuance. They sit on one side or the other. Trump bad, Trump good, and that's it. Like, he's the greatest thing ever. Look, everything is proven that he's a god, or he's the worst thing that's ever happened. They call him Hitler. They call him Stalin. They call him all these things. And it's like, can it be somewhere in the middle? Can he just be like kind of douchey and, hey, have some ideas that at first seem like a bad idea, like tariffs, but end up not being anywhere near as bad as we thought? I don't know if they're a good idea, but it's like, all right, the world didn't crash, right? Like we all thought it would, and he's maneuvered those and everything, but you can say that he's generated revenue, it's an objective, and that he's kept China at bay. Do any analysis that you want. His tariff policy has slowed China's growth, hasn't stopped it. China's a very dynamic place. It has slowed China's growth toward becoming the world's economic superpower. It has. People that I know and have talked to that projected by 2030 have modified those projections just on the numbers. So you got the right thought, but back to his Art of the Deal, he loves to throw the craziest thing out there that he can, create instability, and then kind of negotiate his way to what he wants. Most of us try to go like, okay, here's a reasonable high and a reasonable low. I'm going to push toward my reasonable high, whichever hand that was, and then I'll settle in somewhere in the middle. He goes for an unreasonable high to settle at what might be his reasonable high. He doesn't want to settle in the middle of reasonable. He wants to settle at the high end of what he deems reasonable. That's his strategy. That's it. So whenever you lose your minds, those of you watching this right now like this, like, he's a Trumper, I knew he was MAGA, whatever. Whenever you lose your minds over something he says, understand it's all strategy. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all distraction. It's all a game. It's, what's the movie? Now You See Me, Now You Don't. That's what it is. Him, everybody. He's just better at it. He's better at it than Obama was. He's better at it than Biden was. He's better at it than Bush was. That's it. That's the deal. So does there backlash, anti-DR backlash? I mean, I don't know. Trump is that negotiation strategy is controlled chaos. It looks chaotic to all of us. We don't, but it's controlled chaos. So if he feels as though there's more leverage to gain, then yeah, he'll go wonky on DR. And then it's up to DR what they do with that. But every signal is DR is like, we're in. And I'll tell you, we'll see what the ambassador says. The ambassador that I'm going to meet with Sunday and also have her on a Grub with Gruber. She's a very sweet person. We didn't get too much into politics, but she's like, no, I'm a Trump person. That's, that's the way I go. So that's the deal with that. That's my thoughts on it. Is there backlash? I don't know. Now I'm already starting to see, and we're going to pull them up because I like to be transparent. I'm already starting to see some of the, I can't hear it. Trump is bad. I'm already starting to see it, but I love going through it. Homes be like 2-3 floors on a 2,000 square foot lot with 6x8 square foot pool and 2 carpets. Where? Where are you seeing that? I mean, some places I suppose, but I don't know where you're seeing that. I don't know what happened here. That's just, I don't like that at all. DP World reaffirmed its decision to develop its largest logistics hub in Central America, the Caribbean, and the Dominican Republic. What do you think this means for the country short term? I have to look into that more, but I think everything I talked about earlier about growth in real estate prices beyond inflation, I think those are some of the elements that I see happening for DR as long as it's in the trajectory. They say houses choose tenants. Oh, yeah, well, okay. To that point, can I share your energy story about the house? You're walking around with your shoes off and all that. Okay, so when we were buying this house, there was some turbulence with the mortgage process because we put half down, took a mortgage out for half. The original bank that we talked to was like all in, and then all of a sudden they started changing stuff on us, and it was really annoying. So it felt like, man, we were going to get it, now we might not. And then I met a mortgage broker, which, by the way, they're amazing. If you want a referral to anybody I've worked with that I think is great, it's jamiegruber.com/referrals. Just go to that. But the mortgage broker, Giselle and Paula, they were incredible. They got us a mortgage with a better bank and better terms and everything. But in the middle of that, my wife was like, I went over to the house because we lived very close to it. We were like a block away. I went over to the house. I walked in the backyard. I need like Zen music for this. I took off my shoes and I asked the land if it wanted us. So the women on here, please tell me if this resonates with you. The guy's going to be like,
It's like a prayer. It's like a prayer.
Like a prayer. Like a
Pray to the land.
pray to the land, the house and God. Is it meant to be? If our energies were in alignment, that's what it was. Is the house's energy and our energy in alignment? Then we would move forward.
I would accept the no.
I'm telling you right now,
That's the afternoon.
that afternoon or the next morning, we got an out of the left field a mortgage approval from the broker. Like it was like, yeah, we'll see. We're kind of late. I don't know, but then they approved you. And then the original bank even called us back with like, hey, we're ready to go too. We're like, well, too late. We got them. So it was like, okay. But anybody else do a seance on a house? Maybe some guys, but you're more like broccoli eating guys. But like some women I know had to. At least Trump do most of the thing he said, other promises, and nothing. D. Reyes, I completely agree with that. Doesn't mean I agree with everything he does. But again, people lose their mind. Like, you agree with Trump? I agree that if you're looking at everything that's happening, it's like, where is anything he's doing that he didn't say he would do? I mean, the criminal illegals, he went further than what he insinuated. Like, yes, criminals come into you're criminal if you come into the country without illegally, but it was more implied like people with a criminal record and also illegal in the country, like all of that, but went further on that. But other than that, closed the border. That's what he said he would do. He said he was going to tariff people, other countries. He said he was going to do he has done what he said he's going to do. And just like when Obama got into office, right? Obama got into office and he said, we're going to have universal health care. And people lost their mind when he got elected and then he did it. Like, what are you talking? That's what he was elected for. Like, the people have spoken, folks. You got to give these guys the 4 years to hang themselves, right? Like, you got to do it with Trump. You got to let them give them 4 years to hang themselves. And you know what? If you're in a city where they're doing these operations, get out of the way. Like, film it, document it, but don't get in the middle of it. Whatever. Also, I feel that there's some culpability the other way, a lot of culpability the other way. So that's my take. From Jersey City, good to see you. At least Jamie understands President Trump's negotiating strategy. Read the book. If you read his book, it's everything. The Art of the Deal was written in like 87. It's an old ass book. If you read that, it's literally that. It's not U.S. on side or the other. It's that Trump is unstable and he has reduced the United States on the world stage. It's simply ridiculous. NATO's paying more into NATO countries are paying more into NATO. The U.S. is making more money from other countries. The U.S. has put Iran and Venezuela from a pure U.S. centric perspective, he has not reduced the U.S. on the world stage. It's the opposite from a strength perspective. Reputationally, I agree. There are some countries that are digging even further in, like, screw these folks. We're going BRICS. Don't disagree. But when you talk about instability in the world, I mean, can you deny the peace treaties? You know what I mean? Like, there's some things there that are good. There just are. That's it. He's an idiot. You have that opinion. I get it. When I tell you lands in DR cost as much as the cost in the U.S., no. Okay, see, here's the thing. I actually been working on this with the Inner Circle, which, by the way, if you're not part of the Inner Circle, jamiegruber.com, jump in. We've got, such an active community. Amazing, right? These folks, incredible community of people inside of our Inner Circle. They all think, like, if you're watching right now and not commenting, you're like, I like this guy. This guy sounds crazy in the comments. That guy sounds crazy. Like, Jamie, I get you, man. Like, just get over yourself. Stop being so emotional. And just, this is the deal. Like, you buy here, here's what to expect. If you're like that, if you just have a good conversation, jump in the inner circle, folks. I'm all about it this year. We're developing an AI chat bot of me that takes every conversation we have in here. Every recommendation is all going into this chat bot. So if you have a question like, hey, I need a handyman in Puerto Plata, you can ask it. And my voice will say, you know, this guy from Cabarete said these 3 people are the best ones. Here's their numbers. Like all of that inside the inner circle. We just started doing office hours. Yesterday, we did it with our attorney. Our attorney jumped in, did office hours, open questions for him on the inner circle. We're doing that every other week. We've got real estate state of the market coming from one of our top realtors. Like crazy, awesome stuff. JamieGruber.com. You got to check it out. But it doesn't cost as much. And what I was trying to articulate in here is I think there's 2 different types of buyers and movers to DR. There is the simplify. I want to simplify. So I'm living this way materially in the United States, and I want to simplify that. I just want a beach. I want to, you know, I don't mind taking a moto. I want to spend less money. I want to dial it down. Yeah, the power goes out, no big deal. And that's great. You can live a great life on little money, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. But then there's the growers that move here. And that's, I think, the part that people don't give DR credit for attracting. That's me. I'm a grower. And what I mean is, I'm in growth mode with my life, my business in the US, now my brand. I'm doing this TED Talk. I'm meeting amazing people. Like, I don't know where it's going, but I get fired up by growth. I just love it. So when I moved here, it was more like, okay, I'm in Michigan. Here's where I am, and I want to grow. I want to grow more. So what do I need? You know what? It would be amazing if my wife and I had more time to plan to like our business life together, to date more so that we have those interactions. If we had nannies for the kids at certain times, if we had more help around the house, if we had a full-time housekeeper, that would be amazing. If we had better weather, if we had more space in the home because of the things that we both do, like office space, everything else, like we really operate with our home. It would be amazing if car detailers and dog groomers could come to the house so we don't have to go out and do all that stuff. And then you look at, okay, where can I do that? Well, I can look at South Florida and a premier neighborhood like Coral Gables or whatever. And you know what it's going to cost? Great schools for the kids, maybe private, you know, to buy a home there that's got good size. $35,000 a month. Or for a third to a half of that, I can get every bit of that in a premier neighborhood in the Dominican Republic. So it's not that it costs as much as the US. It costs real dollars to live here. I'm the guy, man. Like, you guys know this. Like, those people out there saying, oh, you can live like a king for $1,500. Like, they don't live here. They may live and exist here they're not living like kings, okay? They're just not. They're living a nice life. But I'm the guy that would say that you're going to spend real money here. In fact, look at this. I'm going to show you guys this. Look at this. We did a survey in the inner circle because I was curious about this and asked the question, hey, if these are for people that live here, if someone who doesn't live here said they were budgeting X amount to move to DR, which statement is most accurate? That they'll actually be spending more than their budget, less than their budget, or exactly what their budget is. Look at the results of that. This is an early stage thing, right? Look at the results of that. Almost everybody that lives here said they'll actually spend more. They're going to spend more than they think. That's true. If you're budgeting $2,000 and you think you can do it for $1,500, you got a buffer, it's $3,000. It just is. It just is. That's the way it is. So anyway, my point is you get more for the money. That example of moving here versus moving to South Florida, like all the amenities that I get here at a third the price of there, that's my saving. I'm not looking to reduce cost of living when I move here per se. I'm looking to get more out of the dollars that I spend. And that's what we've done. So it depends on you. What kind of mover are you? What kind of expat? What kind of repatriating Dominican are you? Are you one that says, it's $5,000 a month here. I can't sustain this lifestyle. I need to live on $1,500 and simplify. There's a space for you. DR has it all. If you're somebody spending $15,000, $20,000 a month, and there's many of you, I know who you are. You message me quietly. The loud people are on the comments. The people who are like, yeah, dude, I don't want to say it, but like, yeah, my burn is $20,000, $25,000 a month. And yeah, I make $600,000. I'm an exec. Like those folks that are watching right now, not saying a word, there's space for you to take the $15,000, $20,000 you're spending there, spend the same amount here, and triple, quadruple the output for every dollar that you put out there. I'm just saying. And you meet amazing people. I had a guy yesterday say to me, like, I feel like moving here, like you don't have as much access to the kinds of people you would in the United States. I'm like, you're only 1 or 2 degrees of separation from the most influential people here. And in the US, you're 6. There's celebrities. There's ex-athletes, there's significant entrepreneurs, there's people that went late stage exit on big companies that live right here in my neighborhood. 1 degree. So depends on what you're looking for. Growth, simplicity. It really is about that. Giuliani helped the current president of DR. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I'm from New York, have seen how unstable this person and some of his family are from generations already. The economy is worse now in the US, and also the US is getting out of environmental agreements. They are getting out of environmental agreements. I'm mixed on that. I'm a believer in a better environment, but I'm very skeptical of the industry around the environment. I'm very skeptical of the industry around cancer. I think I've seen so many places where like there's actually kind of a cure for that, but more money to kind of keep people alive than to cure what they have. And it's the same thing with the environment. Bill Gates, for God's sakes, let's not even get into the Epstein files, but this is the guy that's been trumpeting and parroting like, oh my God, climate change is the biggest threat. Climate change is the biggest threat. Climate change is the biggest threat. Then he's like, well, no, I mean, poverty is bigger, and climate change we could deal with. We had time. Like, what? The narrative changed? What happened? Did we get better? So this is just a different worldview Raf and I have, and that's okay. He's a lovely person, Raf. I don't know you, but I know that you've got passion like I do for whatever it is your beliefs are, and I completely respect that. And I only once, Raf, I'll be honest, only once have I seen you get a little sideways and overly personal, and it was in a comment in a YouTube video, and I think I said something to you, and you were very gracious about it. But your arguments are sound. The economy, I mean, to say the economy is worse would mean that if and when it crashes, at that point you could say, I saw this coming. But until you actually see that, or until you can tell me exactly how it's worse, I don't know. I don't know that that's objectively true. Have you heard anything from Alta Vista Village in Punta Cana? I have not. What is your take on Puerto Plata? I've been there a few times, and with a minor, will love to move there. I already checked that they have a good international school. Yeah, it's beautiful. It used to be my number 2 spot. If we didn't live in Punta Cana, it would have been Cabarete, Puerto Plata. For me, I don't know about you. Santiago went to number 2. Cabarete is probably number 3. You?
Yes.
Yes?
It's hard to say because I love the beach.
Yeah, we love the beach. But Cabarete, for us, would get boring. It's too small. It's too secluded. And then also, I fly a lot. So to not have the airport would be hard. So Santiago, growing an airport, Santo Domingo's airport's fine too, but Santiago is much more organized. I would go there secondarily. I'm 10 years away from enjoying a property, but would like to buy something to pay itself and enjoy 2 to 4 weeks throughout the year. I was thinking Cabarete, Las Terrenas, Punta Cana would is best. That's hard, man, or man. I don't know what Vilarac is. I'm 10 years away from enjoying a property, but would like to buy something to pay itself. What I would say, I would give up on the 2 to 4 weeks spending in it. I would just pay to stay at a resort or an Airbnb, because if you're saying, whatever, if it doesn't rent, I can afford it, then cool, do that. But if you're saying I really need to make that income in order to afford it, then rent it long-term. There's a bigger market for that right now, or not even bigger. There's bigger Airbnb, but there's less supply of long-term rentals than there is demand. There's more demand for that than people realize, especially in Punta Cana. A lot of migration here. It's not just tourism. And even in Cabarete. So long-term rent to keep you stable and use that property one day in the future between tenants, maybe, here and there, jump into it for a week or two. But I would rather come down, pay to stay in a place for an Airbnb for a week or two, and do that if you want to stabilize your income. That's my take on it. DR should focus on growth, but also reducing corruption and education. 100% agree. Energy transmission and managing environment. Hopefully they can weather the storm of an unstable United States. I agree with all of that. And I actually, other than education, there is actually, I can show you measurable progress in all of those areas. Measurable. I can't in education. And I will be the first one to say it seems to be that one thing that every time a new initiative comes out is lacking in terms of the verbiage. It's always like, we've got this additional power injected into the grid. We've got renewables coming. We're building this, we're building that. We got AI, we got this, all like great. What else was there on here? The manage the environment, like there's environmental stuff. They've got national parks here that aren't touched. Corruption has reduced by all indications. All the indices around corruption has gotten better. Not perfect, but better. But education's like, okay, and education? Anyway, next question. It just seems like that to me. So that's that. On my soapbox, whatever Trump builds with his hands, he destroys with his feet. The guy has the highest Q in the early 2000s. The guy today is a disaster surrounded by yes men and applauded by enablers. Maybe. Abinader, the best president the DR has ever had, hands down. That's for you to say for sure. If that's how you feel, I get it. What do you think about the tourism in DR when they open Cuba and Venezuela? I think it multiplies. Here's the thing. There's something called competitive something. What is it called? Competitive acceleration theory, I think it is. That's probably not right. But here's the general marketing principle. If you have a Pepsi machine sitting, and I'll give you a real example. If you have a Pepsi machine sitting in a hallway somewhere, and it does $100 a month, and then you bring in a Coke machine, the conventional wisdom is they'll each do 50, when in reality they each do 200. Because what you've done is you've gone from choices, do I go get a Pepsi or not, to I want to go get a soda, which one? It would be the same as if, like, imagine like a mall food court. And in that mall food court, there's like one place. So you have to make a decision, like it's I don't know, Asian cuisine, it's a Chinese food place. You have to make a decision, do I want Chinese food or not? If I do, I'll go there. If I don't, I won't. But now imagine if there's a Chinese food, a pizza, a this or that, all these different things there. If that's the case, then you would go to that food court to then select from the choices. So you'd have more people in the food court at one time than you wouldn't. The thing is, though, that food court can't be all Chinese places. So to this point, here's why I think tourism in DR multiplies. If Venezuela opens up with tourism, if Cuba opens up with tourism, they're doing it in different ways and at different stages. DR is an all-inclusive place, but it's trending toward luxury. There's a lot of luxury renovation, a lot of luxury developments, and Grupo Punta Cana, a big player here, has come out full stack and said the future is luxury, and they're doing that, okay? Cap Cana has a luxury component, obviously. Punta Cana, Cabrera, Rio San Juan, parts of Puerto Plata, there's a lot of luxury. Jarabacoa, there's Michelin star chefs in Jarabacoa, right? So luxury is the next level. So if you think about, okay, I want to go to the Caribbean, now let me look at my options. Well, Cuba, I get rustic, maybe all-inclusive cheap. Venezuela, I get like maybe urban with access to beaches on the North Shore. DR, I get to go golf and luxury sports. There's a soccer stadium being built here in Punta Cana, right? Like that's to me how it multiplies. DR is right now like maybe the Chinese food place, and they're going to get better at it, be higher end Chinese food. Venezuela and Cuba are your pizza place and your whatever, right? Yes, it's the Caribbean. It's a food court, but it's different foods. I hope that makes sense, right? That's my take. That is an actual marketing theory, though. Not even a theory, a marketing principle that when you create competition, it multiplies. And then I'll give you this real quick. I remember sitting with Grant Cardone at one point on my podcast. He was a guest. And I asked him about cooperation versus collaboration. I'm sorry, competition versus collaboration. And he's like, man, I was trying to do what everyone else did, competition. He's like, when I learned the power of collaboration, like supporting one another, that took my brand to another level. It's honestly something I think Cap Cana needs to understand about its relationship with Punta Cana. They're trying to duplicate or outdo, when what they should do is say, what is Punta Cana doing? Let's piggyback on that and supplement it. This area would explode. And I think that'll happen in the future. That's my take on that. Deep thoughts. This guy talking about taking Greenland, and the Europeans are also turning their backs on the U.S. Right. What did I say about his negotiation strategy? He goes to the extreme. But what did he say? We won't invade, right? He took that off the table. So what if he gets Greenland? What if he buys it? What if he actually does it? What is the beef at that point? He got what he wanted. What if he gets dual control of Greenland? What if he gets ports in Greenland? Maybe that's what he really wants. He wants, like in Germany and Japan, where we have some land for bases. Maybe he wants that in Greenland. Maybe he already have that. I don't even know. But like, again, he's going to throw it all the way out. That's not crazy. That is a strategy. But it appears crazy to people who are not, I don't know, aligned with the strategy. Elon says, what? LOL. I don't know what for. Yes to you. Let's see. Jamie, do you foresee a free Cuba and the subsequent investment? I don't know. I don't study that enough, to be honest with you. I'll say this. I hope for it. I mean, if the premise of the last question around like, well, if Cuba opens up, it's bad for DR. Like, no, that's good for Cuban people, right? Like first and foremost, like we'll all figure out our tourism and other economic needs. But if the people of Cuba were truly democratically free, I mean, that's just the best thing for the world and for them. Sorry, I worked for 7 administrations plus this one. The White House and the cabinet agencies are chaotic. 100%. I don't disagree. Not saying they're not, but I think there's more strategy than what people give that credit for. Would you consider a DR a third world country? No, it has third world elements. Also, what is the level of education amongst the people? Again, the people is a broad thing, David. So one of the things that I rail against, and let me real quick, before I get to education and the people, let me give you my perspective on why I do. Because there are many people, both that look like me and don't, that feel that me having an opinion on the Dominican Republic is inappropriate, that it's colonizing, that it's whatever. And some people are like, that's ridiculous. I'm with you on that. But let me give you the perspective. My wife was born and raised here till 12, and she is a Dominican. My 2 children call them half Dominican, but we made a choice as a family to make this country our home. Now, part of that calculus for us is it's another place. We adapt to that culture. But on the issues of education, on the issues of perception of the people of Dominican Republic, I have a vested interest in my children who are Dominican. They're Dominican citizens. They're Dominican by blood. They live and are growing up in the Dominican Republic. I have a vested interest in my children being able to say I'm Dominican with pride when they're 18, 20, 25 years old, not being looked at as, oh, you're a third worlder, drives me nuts. So on this question, something you'll hear me say over and over again, Dominican people are everything. There are poor Dominican people. There is a large middle class of Dominican people. There are rich Dominican people, legitimately rich, not to be dismissed as drug traffickers and money launderers, which drives me up a goddamn wall. And there's that too. There's all of it. DR has it all. I would say, I don't consider this a third world country. It's a developing nation. Some, what do they call it? A middle upper income country economically. The level of education on the low end, those that need it, is very bad. The poor don't get a great education. The middle class get a solid private education, very low cost. Spanish only, a few $100 a year. That's the middle class, all the way up to, a few $1,000s a year. The wealthy to upper middle class, say 20% of the population here, get a great education. The issue is education of the workers. And the problem is those workers don't know how to make more than a few dollars an hour. Educating those workers is the best thing for them, but it may create more price creep in this country for sure. As they get more educated and have more opportunity, people have to pay more, so on. But again, I'd rather deal with that reality in the future than, keep people in a place because they're not educated. But my take, the Dominican people, it depends on the person. And you're not saying this, David, at all, but there's a lot of people who say, like, that's not a typical Dominican. That's not a regular Dominican. That's not a Dominican even. And I'm like, why is my neighborhood I live in, $800,000+ homes, 75% Dominican. And you can bank that. Ask anybody that lives here, including she's Dominican over there, she's Dominican, that guy's Dominican, those 2 houses over there, both Dominican guys. That's my wife is in my house. It's 75%. 2 kids and a wife, and then there's me. Get my point? So Dominican people overall, it depends. But the problem with education is the lowest socioeconomic group. They don't have good access to good public education. And I think the country needs to do better there. I check out several real estate websites from the DR. I love it. I certainly have prayed over a house or for God's will to be done. Well, there you go. So you're like my wife. It's instability. We never had a president impeached twice and possibly more and lying as much as this guy. His administration is very odd and not like others. Right. And that's what they ran on. And that's what they got elected on, that they're odd and not like others. I mean, yes, he's been impeached twice, but is that on him or is that on Congress at the time? Did Bill Clinton deserve to be impeached for the definition of is or whatever the hell it was? Like, that was ridiculous. I mean, impeachment is not, that's like saying you were indicted. Has anybody ever sat on a grand jury? It's pathetic. You can indict, they say you can indict a ham sandwich. A grand jury sits in a room with one side telling them what the story is. This guy was drunk. He did this, he did that. He was awful. This is what happened. So do we send him to a trial? And you're like, yeah, I guess so. I don't see anything else. That's what an impeachment is like to me. It's a political witch hunt. It's a game being played. I mean, even like, what was he? He was prosecuted by a jury in New York, and that's real. And then he comes in and goes after the prosecutor from New York who did commit mortgage fraud. That's real. Whether they dismiss the case or not, like, you know what I mean? It's garbage. Like, Raph, here's my ask of you. I don't know how old you are. If you're under 30, under 35, that passion, I get it. My ask of you, of anybody, is like, please don't put your eggs in the basket of an individual politician or a political party. Don't. People ask me about the ICE situation all the time. So people ask me about the ICE situation all the time. And I'm like, you don't want to know my position. You want to know if what I'm going to say aligns with your worldview and whether or not to follow me. And what's going to be hard for you is you're going to hear me say 2 things. You're going to hear me say, these people are idiots for getting involved the way they did. And you're going to hear me say, when I watch that, I don't see why they shot them. You're going to hear me say both things. But we sit on one side or the other, folks. Well, you're saying they should have been shot? Oh, I'll tell you this. I don't think there should be prosecution. I think from a legal perspective, they pass. But from a tactical perspective, it was disgusting. My take. I'm not a cop either. Cop watching that, this might be like, a buddy of mine said this. He goes, look, man, you got people that lock themselves in barrels and block traffic. Like, yeah, like they're annoying. He's like, no, they're dangerous. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, what's to stop all these people in traffic sitting there? What's to stop somebody coming down the aisles with an AK and taking people out? I'm like, you got to look at all perspectives, folks. Like, I never thought of that. I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. What if that happened? You'd be like, never, ever allow a protester like they did in Boston when I lived there to lock themselves in a barrel and block traffic going into the city from both sides. You guys are getting my whole thing here. Like, I'm not a lefty. I'm center right if I had to be, but I'm a 2001 liberal. If you're gay, go live your life. I don't care. Get married. Abortion? I'm a 2001 liberal who today gets accused of being MAGA because I don't say Trump is evil. That's it. Because I say men and women are men and women. I'm somehow like, I've been sitting in the same place. I've had the same thoughts. The hell happened? You all moved. That's my take. I am white, and you are not here right now. I don't know what that means, but that is probably both factually true statements. Trump gets poor ratings from the Dominicans because CNN is a fixture in the homes. Let me be clear, and this is real. Local Dominicans are fans of Trump more than they're not here. Expats are split. Dominican expats, Dominican diaspora. But if you talk to local Dominicans, they feel like the U.S. under Trump is a better place for them than not. Fact. You can look at polls on this. I saw a poll. Dominicans, it was like 71% want Trump in the White House. Like, never lived in the U.S. Dominicans. For whatever that's worth. He didn't write it. Ghost written. I don't know what that is either. Obama didn't bring universal health care, by the way. All advanced nations have universal health care. It's not radical. What did he bring? What's Obamacare? Wasn't that a move toward universal health care? That was affordable health care. Maybe I said the wrong word. It's not radical. The U.S. is the odd man out. Sure. The U.S. is also the odd man out with 30-year mortgages. But we like that. Can't get that anywhere else. Can't get fixed debt for 30 years. What area in DR do you recommend for a couple late 30s, no kids, but 15 minutes to the beach? Spots I am researching. Bahia is a good one. Punta Cana is a good one. Santiago's far from the beach. Great city. And one day with Ambar Highway, it'll be a lot closer. But I feel like a jukebox right now. I'm just getting like question answer, like politics, my wife, where to live. This is fun. I hope you're having fun. Let me know. Just give me like a thumbs up or a heart, a like emoji if you're just having fun. Even if you don't agree with me, you can have fun with me here. No kids, 15 minutes to a beach. Las Terrenas would be a spot you haven't had on your list. I'd replace Santiago with Las Terrenas. But the rest you got. Maybe Juan Dolio, but the rest I think you got. It depends on your desire for like Punta Cana. You're going to get more like U.S. style living. Bahia is close enough, but it's much more tame. Puerto Plata is very chill, but you get a more like old world Dominican feel, and you can find your big box stuff. And then Las Terrenas is a little bit more isolated. It's more chaotic, but it's most beautiful beaches in the country, like as a whole, Samana Peninsula. And if you want to get like a more remote, go to Las Galeras. Beautiful out there. The issue with the U.S. is not Trump. It's two-party system. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. To say what you say about Trump, he's one of the most successful persons in our lifetime. That's very true as well. You can't dispute. You go into most big cities, his name is on buildings. Like people do this whole like, oh, yeah, you got $1 million loan from his dad. Really? So if you got $1 million loan from your dad, you would create a multinational real estate empire, a top-rated TV show, become world-renowned as your name being equivalent to rich, and then run twice and win president of the United States. Come on. Like the guy is successful. And there's so is Obama, right? Like Obama is incredibly successful. If I had a choice to sit down with either of those guys, sign me up. Sign me up. Couldn't be two different people. I would love to have a dinner with both of them. The U.S. has been reduced to one economically. It has not. The democracy is reduced. It has not. The democracy is actually what's going on. This was what the people voted for. You don't like it, but it's what the people voted for. The wealthy become wealthier. True. That is all hard data, but not about going crazy. It's cold hard facts. The first two are not cold hard facts. Those are facts made up by media and then propagated by many who believe it as well. What power move, your wife, did she connect to Earth to get a clear answer now that there's a power big move up? Oh, yeah. What a power move. Yeah. She's a beast. She's a beast. Let's see. What up, Jamie, from a Dominican, Alaska? I said there's a bunch of you up there. Dominicans in Alaska, freezing your butts off. Growth is key. You should always strive to acquire and follow growth. I think if you're not growing, you're dying. That's a mantra of mine. Right here, we got the opposite side. The economy in the U.S. is worse now. Yeah. GDP growth is off the charts. The stock market is at an all-time high. The jobs market's a little rocky, but you still have a low unemployment rate. Like, it's been way worse. Inflation is way down. The economy is not good because many people are out of work. 4.4% versus 4.3. A lot of people out of work, but I don't know. There is uncertainty in the market. There's not uncertainty in the market. There's uncertainty in consumer confidence, not in the market. The market's pretty certain. It so far has liked Trump's policies. Let me put it this way. Maybe not even liked. It is priced in Trump's chaos. Do you know what that means by pricing in? So when you've got, like in the beginning, tariffs, no tariffs, tariffs, no tariffs, you saw the market swing. People got all nuts in March of last year. Like, we just lost $4 trillion, even though it was on paper. We just lost all this money. And then like 2 weeks later, you didn't hear anything because it rebounded and went higher again. And then again, he comes out with this chaos and it goes down. At a certain point, the market analyzes the chaos and normalizes it in terms of its pricing matrix. So the market has normalized chaos. And believe it or not, people don't want to admit this, Trump understands that. He's, what do they say, like crazy like a fox in that regard? Economically, can't dispute it. I think somebody needs to take away his phone. I told the U.S. ambassador that. Like, can somebody just take his phone away? The divisive rhetoric that he spews is disgusting. It's awful. I don't like it. It's not presidential. I don't care if like you're authentically, you're now sitting in the seat of the most powerful position in the world. It's not on you to be that divisive. It's awful. I don't like it, and I would take his phone and crack it if I could, or wherever the hell he's posting or whatever it is. So his rhetoric is awful, but you can't dispute some of the metrics. Not even in my opinion, you can't. You can live with less in DR than the U.S., but your budget should be based on the kids you want to adjust. Keyword to live there. Budget based on the kids you want to adjust. Keyword to live there. I think I get that. Lastly, the bullet train, Taino train, where is that now? I don't know if it was a bullet train. It was a train from Punta Cana to Santo Domingo. I don't know where that is, to be honest with you. Thank you for your help. I'll be joining the inner circle. Jump in. We love it. We love having you in there. It's such a great community of people. But listen, honestly, like if you're jumping in to like pitch, if you're jumping in to just like, stir it up or talk, like we don't do it. We don't get into the politics. My wife administers or like moderates the groups. Like, don't cross her. She'll chancla you from afar. She's awesome, keeping that group like on the straight and narrow and making sure the communication and the discussion is really good. But welcome to you. Comparative advantage, that might be what it's called. Competitive strategy theory. That's it, right? Competitive strategy theory. Looking to pay off our home in DR, have already shipped our vehicles and working on bank account cushion before we say final goodbye to US. Don't want to live in DR with debt there. Smart. And you'll see societally, like having a mortgage I don't love, we made a decision. Like we could pay cash in another neighborhood, but our life was here and this is the cost of it. So we decided to do that. But I can't wait to pay this thing off. I'm pushing on it right now. Comparative advantage. Thank you for helping me with that. I believe you're correct because most of the companies around the world are the same partners, so they will balance out. Don't you think so? That's a fair assessment. Romeo Santos got more popular when Prince Royce came on the scene. There you go. I like that. See, we got marketing minds in the group here. If you invest in DR, how does that bode given the long-term DR currency versus USD? Seems to have a very long-term downtrend. It's hard to say because you're doing it in dollars. I mean, it's dollarized here, right? In many ways. So prices are listed in dollars, resale is listed in dollars. So you're really pegged to the dollar. I mean, unless I'm not understanding something on that, that's my thought. Cuba is cruise lines. They will be a new player trying to figure it out. DR is Royal Caribbean. I get you. Yes, MSC Cruise Lines. Yes, that's a great way of putting it. If and when Cuba and the rest open up, DR tourism will slow down, but will never die. See Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. Jamaica's got instability issues, though. Like, you got to look at the article we talked about. Like, DR is in a really interesting moment. Like, the title of this, the Dominican Republic's moment has arrived, the title of this video. It's not like we've done it, call it success. Meaning the moment is here. Like, don't F it up. That's what it means, right? Like, you've got the U.S. with you. You've got these rare earths. Like, don't over leverage that. Don't give that away. You've got military support for the superpower. They're talking about investing more. There's boats off the coast of Haiti. I don't know if somebody saw what's going on there, if there's any updates or news, but if there is something that goes in and stabilizes Haiti, I mean, the U.S. does not have a good record with Haiti. But if it did, amazing. That's good for DR, right? Like, those things, the DR is in a moment. It's a matter of what it does with it. And I'm honestly emotionally hopeful, but analytically down the middle. Like, let's see what they do. Truly curious. How did the tourism develop realistically in the South? I'm building a B&B. I think there's a big opportunity down there, to be honest with you. Many making moves. I'm currently focused on a developer that's been operating for over 20 years and have strong banking relationships. It feels like a safer bet, but I value your perspective. Focus on a developer that's been operating for over 20 years. I'm not sure what you need on that, Manny. If you can clarify, I could try. Severe case of TDS. Whatever. He just doesn't like him, and that's okay, right? He thinks Trump is bad, and that's perfectly fine. Like you, just as much as you may think Trump has done it all, like I'm like, no, he's done some things that people don't want to acknowledge. He's done some things that people, his supporters, won't chastise him for, and they should. In my opinion, that's all this is. All of my children who are now all adults and married have never said we're Americans when asked. All have always said Dominican with pride. They were raised with Dominican discipline as well. My kids say both. And they may switch in the future, like I'm Dominican, whatever, but they like both. Bottom line, folks want to like you or hate you based on your politics. That's a U.S. thing. Agreed. 100%. And it's so clear after moving here. Latinos love a strong man. The classic, love what he says, don't like how he says it. Yeah, that's a fair point. I saw there's a guy, Chamath, whatever. He's on the All In podcast. He was far left. Now he's gone far. I shouldn't say far. He was a lefty gone right, if you want to put it that way. And he said, I'm looking back on what he said, and we killed the message because we didn't like the messenger. And he went through these different examples. I'm like, that's such a great way of putting it, right? You kill the message because you don't like the messenger or the way the messenger delivers it. But when you just look at it analytically, you can't call things what they're not. You can't. You could say you think that maybe because of this, you're going to see this happen in the future. Fair. Like, well, it's stable now, but okay, you can make that projection. But you can't right now analytically say that something is white when it's blue or whatever. Moving to DR in the summer, we'll be joining your inner circle soon. Here's my take on this, guys. I get these questions. I'm like, man, I don't market this well enough. The inner circle, like, oh, is it for Punta Cana? Like, no. It's for anybody that has any interest in moving or investing in the Dominican, or has moved or is investing in the Dominican. Like, the whole thing. What I would say to you, like, I mean, if you're going to join in a month or two, you'll save $9 each of those months if you don't do it now. But jump in, man. The communication, the stuff you're going to get, like, people say it. Like, you go into these Facebook groups, the free ones, you can. There's stuff in there. There's a lot of bitching and moaning. There's a lot of spam. Like, this is a bunch of people who said, hey, $9, I'm willing to spend it. That's not most. Like, my audience is, I get 5-6 million views. Well, no, more than that. 8-10 million views a month now. Holy crap, across platforms. And I monetize, I think it's like 0.0001% of those, right? So, like, very few people will do something like this. And I understand that. But those that do, you're going to accelerate everything. You're going to, before you move, before you even think about it, there's going to be things you learn that you're like, oh, we should prepare for that now. We wouldn't have even thought of that if we didn't join. So it's my call to action. I would just jump in. JamieGruber.com. Check it out. Dominicans in the U.S. are very different than in DR, 100%. I mean, obviously, right? Like, you've got two different cultures that are influencing you. Thanks for the reply, Jamie. Much appreciated. Have I been to Higüey? I have practically lived in Higüey. My wife's from Higüey. We go there all the time. I drive in Higüey. I go myself downtown to Higüey. I've been in a car wash at 2 a.m. playing pool in Higüey. I spent a lot of time in Higüey. Higüey is where I probably spent the most time before moving here. When we would come down, we'd go see my wife's family. We'd go into the barrios. We'd go see all of them. We'd do things. Like I said, I'd go get drunk at a car wash, and then somebody would drive home. A lot of time in Higüey. Trump is as corrupt as, and even real quick, we play soccer tournaments in Higüey against teams there, and they come here and so on and so forth with our kids. Trump is as corrupt as you can get, even before he was a politician. I mean, can you insert any, like, Biden, Obama, Bush? Don't tell me they weren't. Please, if you're look, I will accept this statement if and only if you go like, well, yeah, they all are. Because if you're saying only him, what do they say? I got a bridge to sell you. I don't associate with Trump MAGA. Why? Their callousness is unrivaled. You could, I mean, yes, those that are all the way out there. But I mean, have you seen what people in Minnesota, they're pulling over people in neighborhoods that they think are ICE to shake them down. That's more callous to me than rhetoric. Can you imagine somebody pulling you over? The biggest problem that I see with Trump from afar is his obsession trying to outdo Obama. Yeah, he's competitive. That's what he is. And you're right. He gets out of it. He gets emotional over it. All POTUS are successful, agree. History, if documented correctly, will be the only judge. That's agreed too. We can do some great things. I'm a director of engineering, and AI is my new best friend. Man, I'm looking at, do I install OpenClaw onto a Mac Mini and again, hey, here's another Inner Circle plug. You know where I'm learning all this from? We have all the engineers that are in the Inner Circle, all like the tech guys. We have a technology in Erede right there, technology in Erede chat. And that thing is, I'm learning so much about like the right IP address so that your chat bot can't get out to the world, like how to set it up. I mean, learning a ton from the Inner Circle. It's more than just like, we're talking about DR. The investing and trading one, if you guys are into that, that's probably the most active thread. It has nothing to do with Dominican Republic. Hey, Bitcoin this, here's my play. What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a real community. It's a diverse discussion community. Amazing. See you next week. What do we got here? On rating from 1 to 5, the importance of having a cedula in Dominican Republic doesn't matter when it comes to buying property. No, doesn't matter at all. So 0. But it's good to get. You should get it in time. I should get it, but it's not necessary. More than the two-party system is the fact that too many people view things as a zero-sum game. If an issue doesn't go your way, you don't lose a war. You just need a better argument. Yeah, I like that. More discussion and sunlight cure most issues. I like that too. That's what happens here, right? People talk. They have conversations about this stuff passionately, but they don't hate each other because of it. They don't tell you you're wrong. You know what I mean? They don't tell you like you are bad as a person because you don't share the same perspective. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no, and it works. I love that, Richard. That is my Derek Sivers quote. I use that all the time. And right now I'm in a hell yes season. Like, I think sometimes you got to give some dirty yeses just to kind of like expand and grow. But my growth, I just talked to the TED guy today about this TED Talk tomorrow. I'm like, man, I'm so sorry. I've been hard to get a hold of. I'm in a stage of insane growth as a brand, as an individual, as a man. And I'm not quite clear on how to handle it. I'm trying to navigate how best to handle it. And he had some great, amazing advice I'll keep between us. Chancla you from afar. When I was a kid, my mom had heat-seeking chancletas. My wife will do it. You get in the inner circle and get crazy, she comes for you. My wife is Dominican. I'm American, Italian descent. Me too. Italian and German. She just became a U.S. citizen. She likes Trump. I'm Senator Right. And yes, I was a lib in the late 90s too. We love your stuff on Insta. There is a saying, and look, somebody on here is going to be like, oh, it's bull, but I'll say it, and I don't necessarily disagree with this. If you are conservative before like 25, you have no heart. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for those of you. If you're liberal after 25, you have no brain. There goes. Let's see if my numbers go down. Renewals at the inner circle are gone. People are going to leave. You get it though, right? Like if you're just like, everything has got to be pragmatic and you're 22, like, no, go have some passion, go protest, like, go out there and say something about the world. Live and let live, right? But once you get a little older, you're starting to pay some taxes. Like, are you an idiot? You got to, like, Stephen A. Smith is the best with this. He is functionally liberal, conservative when it comes to finances. I like him. He gets a lot of crap. I like him because he's fairly down the middle. I love Bill Maher because he's as left as you can be, but he calls it out. I love listening to Cenk Uygur. Those are my lefties. I loved listening to Charlie Kirk. Let that number of viewers go down as I say that for those that can't handle that. The left, unfortunately, right now is so in their emotions. I loved Charlie Kirk. Ben Shapiro's annoying. I love Megyn Kelly, although she gets a little like angry girl sometimes. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it doesn't make sense. But I love her perspective. I think she's smart. I love the spectrum. It's really interesting. I'm that guy like, that's a really good point, but that's a really good point too, And in the end, I show up with like, I mean, look, I'll share this real quick. People got nuts about the whole the Minnesota shooting, right? About like, it was a peaceful protest? Was it not? Whatever. And I'm like, I said it before if you weren't here. I didn't watch those videos and think like, yeah, that shooting made sense. Didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why couldn't they move out of the way? But I'm not a cop, so I'll go. That's my opinion. It's my take. And I also watched that and said, like, what the hell are these people doing? And here's the other side of that. I don't know if anybody's ever watched people be rounded up in an immigration raid, but I've seen it multiple times with Haitians here. I've seen it. It's jarring as a human being. Never mind the law. The countries need borders. Immigration needs to enforce it. I say that about the U.S. I say that about DR. It's not about that. But what I'm saying is, like, as a human, when you watch it, when you watch a bunch of guys in a truck going home from work, and then another truck rolls up beside them that is unmarked, and they leap, 6 or 7 of them, onto this truck. You see people scatter, almost get hit by cars, get tackled, taken to the ground, screaming and crying, being dragged into a circular truck and stuck in a cage. As a human, it's hard to watch. It's just hard. Right, wrong, or otherwise. I want you all to imagine this. Jamie Gruber watches that and he's like, these guys, Dominican immigration, they're out of control. Let me go get my gun and put it on my hip that's legally registered. And let me get my phone. And I'm going to step in the middle of a Dominican immigration raid when they're arresting Haitian immigrants peacefully, like whatever. I'm going to step in. I'm going to put my phone in the face of these people. And then I get taken down and shot. How many of you would be like, Jamie was right? You'd be like, Jamie, what are you doing, man? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why would you? you say record it, let us know, like report on it, but you don't get in the middle of it. No one would have any empathy for me if I did that. But somehow we've settled on one is right, one is wrong, when both have right and both have wrong in the scenario. Like, that's how I see the world, guys. That's how I see the world. Like it, don't like it, unenroll, subscribe, don't subscribe. It doesn't matter. Of course, I want to grow my platform, but I want to grow with people that can be reasonable. I don't want to grow with people that need me to say something to validate their worldview. I'm 47, man. I'll be 48 this year. Like, maybe you got time in your 30s for this shit. I don't. I just see it how I see it. I call it like I call it. Trump's not evil. Trump's not the greatest. Obama's not evil. Obama's not the greatest. Like, give me a break. Anyway, thank you to Wall Street Trader for the super sticker. I appreciate that, man. I take all these and I donate them. That reminds me. I'm going to be doing a charity drive. I'm going to be matching dollar for dollar up to $2,500. I'll pay $2,500 if all of you do to help support these two boys. I'll go over that before I end up here. Let me just go through a few more comments. Dio is the only country in the world with the Bible on the flag. Yes, the truth will set you free. Let me see what else we got. Let me go to the bottom because we got a lot here. Papa Penguin pontificates. Good to see you as always. DR is already surpassing what is needed to be considered a developed country in parts. Yes, projects being worked on or planned, says they will be competing with the best in the world soon. Soon is a relative term, but I don't disagree with the premise of what you're saying. Absolutely. I think anyone who has overenthusiastic, undereducated opinions are folks to stay away from, regardless of their politics. There was something about that. I agree with you. There was a quote on that that was really good that I heard recently. I have to remember it. That's all people talk about is politics, right? The conversation is proof. The media scrambled the brains of Americans. Sunny days, I agree with you. Let's talk about something better. I'm saying my parents, my Gruber is a German name, my mom's maiden name, and actually my dad's. So my dad's dad is Gruber, and then I got like Di Natale, Leggio, and Tacconi as the other three grandparents. So it's like 75% Italian, even though I got German pigment and I live in the Caribbean. What a world. And I have half Dominican babies, right? Like, what a world. It's amazing. I love this world. I love we are living, people want to get all nuts. Like, go live in 1924 and try that. You know what I mean? Or 1926, 100 years ago. Like, it's the best time to live. AI is going to change the world in one way or the other, but you can get so much more done. You can go more places. You can fly in a plane from one place to the other in 6 hours that would take you 4 weeks with a horse, and the whole way be listening to music that's coming through a signal you can't see onto a device in your pocket that's more powerful than the thing that landed on the moon. Are we not living in the greatest time ever? It's my general thesis on life. I'm very proud of myself for this. When I hit my head, if you guys saw it and cut my head open, I kid you not, I'm bleeding and everything. I was so mad that this happened. Because I'm like, man, I was having a good morning. I got things to do now. I got to go to the doctor. And immediately, and I've trained myself with this, I was like, at least I didn't knock myself out. At least I didn't take out a knee. At least I didn't tear a muscle. At least I didn't break a bone, right? Like, I had gratitude in that moment, and I'm so damn proud of myself for that. So, Italian, German, from America, live in the Dominican Republic, half Dominican kids. It's amazing. It's amazing. Let's see what we got. A couple more comments. I purchased a villa in Sosua. I believe the area is up and coming. I believe it is too. All right. All right. Here's a couple things. So I want to just share with all of you. Let me see if I can find the photo for you. There's these two boys, and I'm going to tell you the quick story of them. Stick with me for 5 minutes, folks. If you've gotten value from today, give me 5 minutes if you wouldn't mind. And I'm going to be a little bit clumsy in doing this, but I'm going to try to at least tell you a short story, and here it is, and deliver some value to you here. Let's see. Let me go. How do I do this? Share screen? Slides in PDF? Share screen? Here it is. I can share this window. Wait a minute. Move this over. Yeah. Okay, so these two kids, the boys on the right and the left. This is Jason. This is David. A few months ago, 6 months ago or so, maybe now, 4 or 5 months ago, and that was right before Christmas, a gentleman named Angel Castillo. He was sitting at a restaurant having breakfast, and this young man right here, David, came up to him. To be clear, these are both boys that are orphans living on the streets here, originally from Haiti. So they are Haitian. Some people don't. They won't do anything with that. That's up to you. But I want to explain the story of these two boys. So this young man comes up to him and says, I have candy for sale. Would you like to buy some? And Angel said, I really can't. Angel's 26, just moved back here, Dominican American kid. He's like, I can't, but I can get you breakfast. So he buys him breakfast, sits him down. And then he puts a post in the inner circle chat. And he's like, man, I just met this kid, took a picture of him. All he wants to do is go to school. So I was like, oh man, hey, I think I know somebody that can get him in school. So I messaged a friend that runs a charity called Second Mile Missions. And he's like, yeah, we can do it. So another member of the inner circle, Brian, saw this kid, David, as Angel had left. And he's like, hey, I see the conversation. If you want, I found David. I can have him wait here, Angel, if you're coming back. Angel goes back. He meets with David. David's now with Jason, who's like a big brother to him, like kind of a caretaker. Jason's been on the streets for 7 years at 14 years old, so half his life. David's been on the streets for, I think, 3 or 4 years at the age of 12. So half of his conscious life, if you will. So these boys are living on the street. So Angel goes and gets both of these boys. He brings them to a hotel in Friusa. We paid for the hotel, got them set up. And then on Monday, I went, Angel went, we all went to Second Mile, brought the boys and got them in school. And we got them an apartment. When they went to the apartment, these two boys, they started off really good. They were going to school, going to church, whatever. And then we hired a tia to stay with them some nights a week, some days a week, not at night, to cook for them, clean for them. And they got wild. They got really wild. The older boy was catcalling a neighbor's daughter in a little apartment in Friusa. It was this little like $80 a month spot. Catcalling a girl in Friusa, a neighbor's daughter. They were loud and rambunctious at night. And this kid, David, had ended up like, we found out he stole something from a neighbor, right? So like still acting like they live on the streets, even though we had them in an apartment. So the landlord kicks him out. Angel goes back and meets with them and says, guys, you got one more chance. This is about 2 months ago. Guys, you got one more chance. There's a lot of people pulling for you, a lot of people donating for you. You got one more chance. These boys got a new place. They settled in. There have been no issues. We have a new tia. The last tia we didn't like as much. This tia is really good. They're going to school every day. They're going to church. And 5 days ago, this boy right here, because he wanted to, Jason, got baptized, Christian, Catholic, whatever. So he's baptized now. What a story. This kid is doing better in school. They could both read. They could both write. But this one needs more he needs more counseling. He needs more help. Just still rambunctious, trying to find himself. But, they understand their boundaries, right? Like they got into the situation and now they're flourishing. What we're trying to do is raise enough money for these kids for the next year, get them through school, keep them in their home, feed them, health insurance, the whole nine. We're trying to do that for all of them. I'm going to drop a link here if I can find it real quick. Let's see here. I got to find it real quick, guys. But I'm going to find this link and send it to you. But if you can donate, amazing. To do this, here's some stats, right? It would be either you can donate whatever you want. But if somebody out there is willing to donate $20 a month, if we had 60 people that did that, they're taken care of. 60 people, $20 a month. Or if 60 people are willing to donate $250 one time, that would take care of it. And I'm going to match dollar for dollar up to $2,500. So I will put in $2,500 of my own money for every dollar that you put in up to $2,500. So you know what I mean? Like if 10 people donate $250, that's $2,500. Then I donate another $2,500. That's $5,000. Let me drop the link here for Second Mile. You can donate at that link. So if you're willing to, these boys, amazing story. Again, fully transparent here. They're both Haitian. They're both orphans. They've been in the system. They've been abused in the system, unfortunately, here in DR. They've lived here most of their life. They speak Spanish. They're culturally Dominican in bodies that were born in Haiti. But this guy, like I said, just got baptized. This guy, we're still working on getting him calmed down a little bit, how to understand how to do things. But they've reformed themselves. They show up for school every day. They read, they write, they do it all. If you're willing to, if you're able to, it would be amazing if you donate. And again, I'm matching every dollar up to $2,500 right now that you donate. So hope that helps. Anybody have any questions on that? Please let me know. But what a conversation today, guys. We went 90 minutes. Great chat. Good to talk to all of you. I'm curious what, if anybody donates, by the way, let me know. Drop it down in there. Just, hey, yeah, I'm donating $20, I'm donating 50, I'm donating whatever. Let me know. I'd love to just see that there's support for just kids. We talked about it before, like Republican, Democrat, I don't care. You're a human being. I just want to love on you, right? Like same thing. These are two kids. Their parents are gone. The younger boy's like, I don't know if my parents are alive. I haven't seen them in years. I had a sister. The younger ones, I had 3 siblings. They're gone. I don't know where they are. This one has an older sister who's unfortunately succumbed to a drug addiction. What a life they've lived. And to be able to give them the opportunity through the inner circle has been amazing. I also donate for every subscribe. I donate 2 cents for every follower. I donate 2 cents, and that adds up. So if you just do that, subscribe, follow on Instagram, follow on TikTok. I donate for every one of those. And if you're able to donate, amazing. I appreciate you. That's what I got. That's how I'm going to end it today, folks. Any comments, any thoughts before I let you go? We are still live. Anthony just donated. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. Hello, Pedro. Good to see you. Appreciate anybody doing what they can to help these boys out. It's an amazing thing just to see these lives flourish. And again, if they screw it up, then that's on them. We've given them that ultimatum. Papa Penguin, truly appreciate you. That's amazing. This is how you change the world, folks. You don't do it. I don't think you don't do it broadly. Most people don't. You do it in small community like this where you help out people that are your neighbors, your friends, whatever it might be. And I appreciate all of you that are doing that. That's what I got. Julian, thank you. I don't know what Juan means. Juan? All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I got to go speak at an event. I got to speak at a TED Talk tomorrow. I got to leave early for Santo Domingo, like 6 a.m. I'm staying at an Airbnb there till Sunday night. This is cool. I was invited to be a guest at the U.S. Ambassador's house to watch the Super Bowl, thinking about wearing my Bills duds because screw the Patriots. I hate them. I hate that they're back. I'm jealous, so therefore I'm hateful. And we go from there. Bobby Marone, you're a beast, my friend. I can't wait to see you in a week. 10 days, something like that. 16th, I think you come down here. So looking forward to seeing you, Bobby. Bobby's one of the greatest guys in the inner circle, greatest guys in the world, and he's in the inner circle. Bobby, it'll be fun to see you on the 19th at our inner circle get together. All right, folks, appreciate the donations. Appreciate all you're doing. I'll do another drive on this so that we can get more and more people donating. But thank you for everything. I'll see you all soon. See you next Friday. New video coming out Sunday. I think you'll enjoy it. It's called How I Earn Money Abroad Without a Job. And I go through every income stream that I have and have had in the time that I've left the job. I just want to add value to the questions you guys ask, guys. So I'll see you all soon. Raphael, I do appreciate you and all what you do for the Dominican Republic. Same. All of you guys are participating in this, so I appreciate it. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. Have a great day. Much love. Have a great weekend.